4 players that you need to add for week 3 of the fantasy football season. I'm going to give you my top waiver wire ads heading into this week, guys that you should be putting in a claim for, and other guys that if they clear waivers, you should consider picking them up. We need to churn our roster at this point in the fantasy season, get rid of some guys that aren't producing, that aren't likely to produce, and get some of these guys on your team. I make new videos like this every single day, so make sure you hit that subscribe button. And with that being said, let's get into the video. So when I'm talking about these waiver wire ads, I'm also talking about guys who are currently being rostered under 50% of leagues, according to Yahoo. I'm looking at Yahoo for this. So the first guy for me is going to be Rondo Moore. Rondo Moore is currently rostered in 33% of leagues. He was a guy that was on the list last week, so hopefully you picked him up. But if you didn't, then this is your last chance. He had 114 receiving yards in this past game. Now, 77 yards came off of one play. It was a broken coverage, touchdown. So keep that into consideration. But he's also 10th in the league in receiving yards. This is a guy that's going to get more involved as the season progresses. He's a rookie, and he was just a phenomenal player in college that was just really good at yards after the catch. He was a playmaker, and they want to get him the ball. He's returning punts, he's returning kicks, he's getting more involved in this offense, and as the season progresses, he's going to get more and more involved, and this is going to be an offense that should be one of the top offenses in the NFL, especially in scoring. So Rondo Moore is the first player. The second player is going to be J.D. McKissic. J.D. McKissic is currently rostered in 29% of your leagues, and he played really well on Thursday Night Football. We know what his role is for this offense. He's a third down back, he's a 2-minute offense back, and if you thought Antonio Gibson was going to be anything more than a high-end RB2, you're kind of fooling yourself, because he's going to be a thorn in J.D. McKissic's upside for the whole season. And the only way he's not involved in this offense is if he gets hurt. That's what I believe. I don't see Antonio Gibson taking any of those snaps because they really like what they see in J.D. McKissic. And in PPR leagues, he needs to be rostered in a much higher percentage, and it's going to skyrocket after the waiver wire period for this week. And with Taylor Heinecke at the helm, this offense looks like it's going to be okay. So the second player, J.D. McKissic. The next guy is going to be James White. He's another pass-catching back that has a clear role on this offense. He's going to see some carries, but he's going to be mainly the receiving back, and Mac Jones looks pretty decent right now. So this offense should be solid as the season progresses as well. So he's currently being rostered in 42% of your leagues. That should be a little bit higher, especially in your PPR leagues. And with guys, especially the running back position where there's just so many injuries throughout the season, he should be rostered in your league. So James White, the third guy. The next guy is Tim Patrick, and he's currently being rostered in 22% of your leagues. And with Jerry Jeudy out, he's going to play on a lot of snaps. He's a big-bodied wide receiver who's good in the red zone, where he's scored the past 2 weeks now. He's a guy, if you need some help these upcoming weeks because you've had some injuries, he's a guy that you can plug in, and he's a solid flex play, especially with the New York Jets this upcoming week. So Tim Patrick is the fourth guy. The fifth guy is going to be KJ Osborn, and KJ Osborn is currently rostered in 2% of your leagues, and he's put back-to-back solid weeks together now, where he's gone over 70 receiving yards, he's playing on a lot of snaps, and he scored this past week. He's currently a top 20 wide receiver in fantasy football. Now, is he going to continue that going forward? He's not going to be a top 20 guy going forward. It's very unlikely, especially with Adam Thielen, Justin Jefferson in this offense. But this offense looks pretty good right now. So there's going to be opportunities there for KJ Osborn. He's a guy that I wouldn't put a waiver wire claim in for right now, but if he clears waivers, I would pick him up if you need some depth there. So KJ Osborn, the next guy. The next guy is going to be Cordarrelle Patterson. And Cordarrelle Patterson is currently a top 10 running back in fantasy football. A top 10 running back. Okay, it looks like a timeshare there with him and Mike Davis. And this past weekend, he was solid at receiving. And really, he's much better than Mike Davis in the receiving game. So he could possibly be this team's receiving back on a team that's going to be really bad this upcoming season. Very bad. So he's definitely worth a pickup. And if anything were to happen to Mike Davis, he kind of takes over this lead role. It'd still be kind of a committee with him and probably like Wayne Gallman, but still he has value in your PPR league. So if you need some running back help, pick up Cordarrelle Patterson. I can't believe I'm saying that. The next guy is going to be Rashard Higgins. And we have Jarvis Landry leave this game with an injury. Now, as of recording this, I don't know what the severity of Jarvis Landry's knee injury is. Once Waivers, Tuesday comes around, you'll probably know what the severity is. I believe today we'll know. Probably like right after recording this video, I'll know. But keep an eye on Jarvis Landry's injury. And also we have Odell, who has not played a game yet. So he's close to coming back. He could be back this weekend. But if he's not, you could possibly have Rashard Higgins as the top wide receiver in Cleveland right now. So Rashard Higgins should be somebody on your fantasy radar. And when Tuesday comes around, you should know what Jarvis Landry's injury status is. So Jarvis Landry or Rashard Higgins, the next guy. The next guy is going to be Zach Pascal. And I think a lot of people are going to run and grab him because he's scored in back-to-back weeks now. But here's the thing with Zach Pascal is he's just not seeing the targets. It's not going to be sustainable where he's seeing these touchdowns. And if he doesn't catch the touchdowns, really, it's not a good fantasy week. So he's on this list, but he's not somebody that I'm crazy about. I wouldn't spend any of your fab bucks on him. I wouldn't waste a waiver wire claim for him. If he clears waivers, maybe pick him up, but he's just a guy that the touchdowns aren't going to be sustainable. So Zach Pascal, the next guy on the list. The next guy is going to be Kenny Gainwell, who saw 12 touches week 1, and this past weekend he saw 8. He's going to be probably right in that range every single game. This team obviously likes him, and in good matchups, easier matchups, he will be a borderline flex play. And if anything were to happen to Miles Sanders, his role would grow in this offense. He wouldn't be like want to take over as the lead back or anything like that. You'd still have Boston Scott involved in this offense, but his role would grow in this offense. And in PPR leagues, he should be somebody that you should just store on your bench. So the next player, Kenny Gainwell. The next player is going to be Austin Hooper. Like Rashard Higgins, if we have both Odell and Jarvis Landry out this upcoming week, he's going to see a boost, especially in your PPR leagues. So he's a guy that it's not pretty, and tight end is just not pretty at all. But there's more opportunity here with these receivers being out. So next guy, Austin Hooper. The next guy is going to be Justin Fields, who technically doesn't fit because he's rostered in over 50% of your leagues, but we have Andy Dalton get hurt. I don't know what the severity is, how long he's really going to be out, but right now we have Justin Fields. We knew he was going to take over at some point for this offense. He has that rushing upside. He didn't look great this past weekend, but it was his first game. He should get better as the season progresses, and like I said, he has that rushing potential. So Justin Fields, the next player. The next quarterback is going to be Derek Carr. And he's nearly thrown for over 400 yards in back-to-back games. He had 382 yards this past weekend, and he looks pretty good right now. This offense looks decent. The passing attack with Henry Ruggs, Bryan Edwards, and of course Darren Waller, it looks decent right now. He gets Miami, who Miami just lost to. Now, I don't know if he's going to miss this upcoming week. I know it's a rib injury, but we have to see if he plays. If he doesn't play, then I really like Derek Carr because we just saw the Buffalo Bills demolish the Miami Dolphins. They have a chance to start 3-0. Who would have thought this team would start 3-0? So, if you're a Raiders fan, congratulations. Derek Carr looks really good right now. So, Derek Carr, the next quarterback. The next player is going to be Taylor Heinecke, who he needs to be rostered. If he's not already, he needs to be rostered in all of your 2-quarterback Superflex leagues. I don't know how long Ryan Fitzpatrick is actually out for, or even if he comes back and takes the starting job. Taylor Heinecke looked decent this past weekend. Now, for streaming options, I don't really like him this upcoming weekend against Buffalo, at Buffalo, but he looked good. This offense should be good. And Taylor Heinecke, like I said, once again, needs to be rostered in all of your 2-quarterback Superflex leagues. A guy I do like this upcoming weekend as a streaming option is against the Houston Texans, who are now going to be without Tyrod Taylor, who actually Tyrod Taylor has looked pretty good as well. But he's out for this game. They get Houston, and he's been playing pretty well. Like, I wouldn't say like great, but good enough. He played well against a very tough New Orleans defense that absolutely shut down the Packers offense. So Sam Darnold, this upcoming weekend, if you need a streaming option, add to quarterback position, is solid for Thursday night against Houston. Sam Darnold. Now let's talk about a couple defenses that you can stream. In Carolina, this was a defense I like coming into the season because their front is actually really solid for Carolina. Now they get Houston, who's going to be without Tyrod Taylor. Absolutely fire them up. They're a really solid play on Thursday night. And the last defense, they're currently rostered in 1% of leagues, is going to be the Las Vegas Raiders, who actually haven't been that bad this year. They've definitely improved from last year, and they get Miami this upcoming weekend, which I talked about. We'll see if Tua plays. If Tua doesn't play, then yes, fire up the Las Vegas Raiders as a streaming option that's going to be available in your leagues. And if you really need a defense because your defense is playing against a really good team, then Las Vegas Raiders definitely come into play. So with that being said, that concludes the list. If there's anybody I forgot, let me know down in the comments. I will update this tomorrow night if it needs to be updated due to Monday Night Football. So make sure you hit that subscribe button, like the video. Appreciate you watching, and have a great day.